good afternoon and welcome to this mini adventure again. Today's challenge is to try out the new Lixada platform with the Trangio burner, just to see how well it cooks lunch. With the simmer control, I'll make some soup or something along those lines. So stay tuned and join me. I'm actually doing a recce as well because it's my intention to do a bug out here mid-October, and using the Dutch Army winter 4-season sleeping bag. I like this corner of this wood here because yet again I found a place that seems to have very little visitation from anyone except the gamekeeper or shooting folk in the shooting season. I noticed the gate end had been wired up and tightened up to stop the sheep escaping, but also I think the gamekeepers keep an eye on the perimeter access points because they want to keep their finger on how things are working in their own plantations prior to the shooting season. Perfectly understandable, but it's okay to come in here if you're quiet and don't cause any disruption, and don't go through the whole forest and scatter all the livestock and pheasants that might have been put down. So keeping very close to the edge, keeping very quiet and hoping not to be noticed by anyone. But what I like about this is that the only people that will come here, I feel, are shooting parties, the occasional gamekeeper in his 4x4 buggy, but there's no sign of erosion. It looks like the perimeter gate was probably tied up and sealed by the sheep farmer, I suspect. But this is all quiet and a great place to be. One of the reasons why I like to wear drab clothing, as you probably will all have guessed by now, is I like to blend in as much as possible. And if I am found or discovered by a landowner or a gamekeeper, they're usually pretty understanding if your dogs are under control. If you're on your own without dogs, they'd probably be even more understanding if you showed respect, because all they're trying to do is make a living like everybody else and try to manage their own business. And if you respect the country and leave no trace, light no fires, and move quietly and stealthily, there's very little likelihood that a person working the land or the plantation would object to you being there quietly, once you explain to him what you're doing. Just getting out and enjoying the country quietly, doing a bit of photography, and very careful not to disturb any of the wildlife. Of course, you look like a poacher in your drab camel gear, so you have to reassure gamekeepers that you're not actually a poacher. But just explain to him what you do and invite him to look at your channel. Anyway, I'm getting close now to the place I want to be, which I had a look at 6 months ago in the spring. It's just down here on the left, and it's where the plantation becomes more mature and some of the trees are quite aged and quite beautiful. So we're nearly there. In the winter months there is a pretty clean water source just running off the grass, well away from livestock. You know, with a filter and good boil up, it'd be perfectly adequate for drinking. Magnificently rich colours, these forest fungi, non-edible, probably poisonous. You know, they're very beautiful to look at. hear that? When there's an alert or a squabble in the trees, it's because someone or something is coming closer. But I think this is just a territorial squabble between crows, I think. Young ones, high pitch. They sound a bit like they've had too many cigarettes. Yeah, unfiltered, rough. Anyway, we'll leave them to their own business. Let's have some lunch, shall we? So this is the setup this afternoon. Just a bit of shelter in case I get a bit of rain, you never know. It also keeps some of the wind off, so the draft. So let's fire up the stove and see how it performs, shall we? So what I have here is the usual MSR. I like it because it allows you to pack a whole stove inside, even coffee and powdered coffee mate along the sides. So I brought that today. Not a military equipment, but very compact, and my usual starter kit, meths and sparker. So today's menu, of course, is, oh, no advertising allowed, soup. Flavour, let's have a look, minestrone, but I'll be adding some lamb and hot smoked paprika, because you know I like my food hot. So let's begin assembling the stove. The correct pronunciation for the stove is Lixada, and they only cost around a tenner. I mean, they're not expensive, and with it comes a nice little bag, Trangia burner, and a choice of colours. I chose green, an attempt at being camouflage, but there is the base. I'll let you come in closer. So it's quite a simple design, and of course the Trangia burner fits in the centre, and the pan, of course, on the top. So you get a nice tidy maximum efficiency flame, or at least that's what I'm hoping for. As I said, today's menu is roast lamb with a good dose of hot smoky paprika in a tin soup, just to give a bit of edge. I don't like pre-made soups and foods as most people, but you can liven them up with a bit of garlic or a bit of pepper, and they become a bit fresher in taste. The flame is, as you'd expect, quite efficient, so I'm expecting this to boil up in 4 minutes and be ready to eat. Yep, I like. Very compact, the whole thing stores away, and as you all know, I do like my BCB, and I'm getting a bracket, I think, to install the Trangia burner into the BCB hearth, just to have extended cooking for bug outs rather than quick, fast boil ups. Have something that can cook more slowly. Hence the reason for the Trangia, but I couldn't criticise this for the price. It's really top notch. I like the efficiency of the flame, and that's really something I'm looking forward to using. Always good if you have a lid to use it. Should reduce the boil time by 10-20%. Looking good. Well, I think that's just about ready. Shall we have a look? Yep, we have a boil. Yum yum, very nice. Fresh cooking in the fresh air, can't match it. I'll be back soon in about a couple of weeks' time with a bug out and show you the new sleep system, ex-Army, Dutch Army, Four Seasons, bag and bivvy. So till next time, take care and get out into the forest as much as you can. Goodbye.